I've been wanting to talk about this episode for such a long time, with it being one of my top picks of episodes to review when I became a fan of this show after watching all the episodes. But at the same time, I looked way too much into Steven's feelings towards Rose that I would have ignored nearly everything of what happened after this episode when it's revealed that, you know what. To be real with you, this episode has the best Steven-only perspective element out of all the episodes that I've seen up until this point. And maybe in episodes after this. Because as far as I'm concerned, since that Steven have never met Rose in his life, mainly his mother, really sums up a lot that if this ended up happening when Steven knew that Rose was Pink Diamond all along, it wouldn't even work. If anything, this episode has the best method of having that development way more than other episodes, because it really sums up a lot that Steven really wanted to meet his mother, but at the same time he wouldn't be able to, since she's gone. When Connie's mother picked up her after doing so much shifts at the hospital on the long surgery she went through, it gave Steven complicated feelings, since that he was about to eat outside, but due to the storm that ruined his dish, it gave him the idea to go to Rose's room in order to talk to Rose, when he's mainly talking to himself, because that's mainly what Rose's room does. And believe me when I say this, is that this moment alone sums up a lot that this episode has changed a lot more ever since I watched it numerous of times when I was into the show. But after taking time to process, believe me, if Pink Diamond was still alive and she is still Rose, and there was some other way that Steven is Steven with his own gem, I could guarantee you that she would still manipulate Steven regardless. And the fact that we never get to see an actual scene centering around the two meeting each other for the first time, since that all this is mainly an illusion, it really shows the full focus on the reveal of Rose being Pink Diamond in Season 5, and yet at the same time, it leads to Steven dealing with so much when it comes to doing all the responsibilities from his mother, who is Pink Diamond. And to tell you the truth, even though that he should be blamed for most of the stuff that he did in future, but as far as I'm concerned, my opinions towards the episodes are mostly a mixed bag, considering of how it's the epilogue after the stuff that Steven went through, and at the same time, it's difficult to move forward when it comes to a happily ever after, especially after Change Your Mind and the movie. This episode is mostly a slice of life between Steven and Rose, but keep in mind, considering that this is all taking place in Rose's room, this is literally the only way for Steven to actually communicate with Rose, and judging of how that he wanted to do this for a long time ago, I can guarantee you that if he did, he would probably miss more on how this whole situation between the responsibilities that he takes and the fact that what he's witnessing involving Rose in Rose's room just isn't fully complete whatsoever, as in Rose being Rose 100%. You can really tell that this whole two-face of Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz is really in full effect when it comes to the reveal of it in Season 5. Steven wanted to see the good in everyone, even if he go a little overboard when it comes to a few fans. And when it comes to Rose, it's basically the number one person that he trusts the most, and when it comes to the final minutes of the episodes, well, the surroundings have turned into darkness instead of pink, you really know that there's a lot more going on centering around the context that Steven is dealing with, along with the context behind Rose's character. The fact that he won't be able to take a selfie with Rose, since that he's only talking to himself, while trying to get the bottom of it when it comes to Rose shadowing a diamond, even though in reality it wasn't the case, Believe me, the twist is just difficult to see the negativity after thinking about this more and more, and even though I may be into the positive sides and all this, keep in mind, I really feel like that this direction of what Steven has been taking kind of sums up a lot that he can't be able to make everyone happy, but at the same time he can't be able to make himself happy in order to make things right. And believe me, every time I think about Steven in this season, along with the following season, mainly when it came to him learning about the name Pink Diamond from Jasper, he will never be able to feel good about almost everything when it comes to the events of Future. And trust me when I say this, even though that it's mostly a mixed bag of how he was developed in Future, the way I see it, this episode alone kind of contributes on the fact that when he gets older, he's going to develop new feelings when it comes to trauma and PTSD, and for the longest time, when people have been going against this whole Steven PTSD, it's mainly the fact that they expected more when it comes to Steven's character and being more mature. But believe me, there's one thing that I've learned is that every single character has a breaking point, and even though it's difficult to get on board with that, it kind of sums up a lot onto why I don't consider Future as the weakest when it comes to Steven Universe as a whole. If I actually reviewed this episode years ago rather than right now, it would have been the most outdated video that I've made centering around Steven Universe, next to the Change Your Mind vs. Future's finale video that was also outdated. Trust me when I say this, at times I really wanted to do these videos way earlier than necessary, but the more I think about it, better late than never is sometimes the better alternative when you learn more about the show itself, and mainly the aspects that people have been giving when it comes to some positivity. I really found this episode one of my most favorites from this season, and even though my perspective of it has changed, at the same time, it still made me appreciate this episode a lot more. And when it comes to the following episodes that I'm gonna be reviewing, they're gonna be beach city related with one lion episode, but we're gonna be heading into the finale of Season 4 and into Season 5, which has the most episodes to talk about. Well, aside from Season 1, which has the most out of all the episodes that I've talked about from this marathon. I'm giving this episode an 8.5 out of 10.